How many success managers do you need per well-nurtured lead? Yeah, I just invented a new marketing term, well-nurtured lead.
Okay, so regarding the marketing budget, I don't know if it fits everyone's model, but our model, the low-touch one, is we see the return on the on paying customer. Like it costs us about $400 to $500 to get a paying customer, and they are on average paying $100 a month. So we get the money back after 5 months. And last month we've, for example, released the yearly option, and we got like crazy, like 50% bi-yearly, which is crazy. So what that does is reduce the TROI, the time that you ROI that investment. So if it's like 2 months, then whatever the marketing budget you have, you can reinvest it like after 2 months. If it's like half a year, you can. So the marketing budget is not exactly, it's not like the rest of the money, like you throw it back in, and you see a lot of companies do that. So it depends on your TROI essentially. So it depends. That's the answer. And what was the second question?
How many success managers do you need per nurtured lead?
So actually, So actually, we're seeing now that we contact leads that use the product currently and paid for it as well. Like that's the lead nurturing we have. We see that you managed to use the software. So I would say that we are well behind the amount of people that we need to because we need to call others that just want to, and that's what we want. So we see we're behind. So I would say that currently what I'm looking at is like seeing the amount of leads that you have that you think can convert, and you know that can convert, that you don't get to in a timely fashion. That's like what we're doing now is increasing the customer success sales team until they reach that point.
So it's like, what, like 1 to 10, 20, 1 to 100, 1 to
So no, that depends on the product. Like we're doing a fight between marketing and sales with our with paid marketing. We're telling them, like, the marketing guy, you need to buy enough to get enough leads, so the sales team will not be able to handle them, and we tell the sales guy like hire more people to give a fight to the marketing team. So, but it depends on the product.
It's called the gladiator mode. They throw them into a ring and see who wins.
Okay, so we pay something like $20 per lead, and the cost per customer is something like $400, and the pay customer is paying something like $80 per month or $1,000 per year. And regarding the other question with the customer success manager, so we're a small company. We just we launched recently, and we're like relatively a small team. We just finished fundraising round. So we basically have like 1.5 customer success engineer who is handling something like 1,500 leads, and we mostly do the nurturing based on like engagement with content that we generate, and also the top channel is based on usage of the product. So we start seeing people starting to use the product based on the backend statistics of our product, like people creating tests, people having failed tests or having issues with the test. So that's a good way to create engagement. And the other thing is based on like attendees of webinars and the people who are showing interest in content. So this is where the customer success sales managers are focusing.
So regarding the first question about the ratio between marketing budget and overall company budget, so we're within what I've seen, that is the range of B2B companies, which is 5 to 20% of the overall budget. It's a big difference. If you're less than 5, you should be worried. Also, probably if you're over 20. Regarding the customer success managers, so at CloudEndure, we don't have yet any customer success manager. We just launched, but I can tell you that I think it mostly depends on the usage of the product. So I can tell you at ClickTail, we had 5 at the time, 5 enterprise sales manager and 5 customer success managers. At Panaya, we had 50 sales managers, and we had a team of less than 5 people who were customer success managers. So I think it's mostly about the frequency and complexity of the product, and not, I don't see it has anything to do with the amount of leads that you're nurturing.
So the more complex, you need more success managers.
The more complex, we need more success managers. Yes. Additional questions? We will do a round robin and then, okay? Yeah. Do you have any?
I want to challenge or introduce the challenge I'm facing. Maybe the smart people here will be able to help me. So instead of going into our product...
Could you first present yourself?
Yes, my name is Neta. I'm VP of Marketing for WhiteSource. WhiteSource does open source management of open source components. So it's something that most organizations today do on a spreadsheet, the same way they used to do backtracking on spreadsheet. But now nobody does backtracking using a spreadsheet. If there were more R&D people here, you'd say, yeah. And we want to get people to use our solution because it offers quite a few advantages over spreadsheet.
So just repeat it for the video. So Neta from WhiteSource, right? That helps companies, developers. You're selling to developers?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, VPs and R&D are... Who else here in the room sells to developers? The target audience are developers. Okay. So because it's important for you to, you'll be able to talk with them later. But so, and your product enables VP of R&Ds to track the usage of open source components in their products.
Right,
okay.
And do it efficiently, do it continuously, etc., etc. So instead of talking about open source, I'm going to give an example that everybody can relate to, which is suppose that you're a B2B, but in a B2B realm, let's talk about someone who's selling wedding dresses, okay? So he has a database of like 30,000 women in the right ages, and he wants to sell, he's sending them emails every week or every month. In his mind, he wants, when the day comes, he wants to be on their mind when they have to choose the wedding dress. So what I'm saying is that there's an event that you can't find about, okay, that's usually kept under wraps, that triggers or ripens the lead.
So this is what's called...
You can't figure out.
Oh yeah, that's what's called a compelling event. There is a compelling event that drives companies to buy a specific product. And in your case, there has to be some kind of a compelling event.
There is my dream is that every woman will start wearing a wedding dress every day. But right now, I'm looking for the compelling event that actually triggers a great necessity for my solution. And this compelling event, unfortunately, does not show itself anywhere. It's usually a secretive event.
So we have a compelling event. Just first of all, let's just get everybody on the same page. We have a compelling event. This compelling event doesn't have any signature outside of the company.
It's usually kept under wraps. So,
okay.
What is it?
An M&A event or.
Okay, an M&A event that they need to clear IP rights before they do that. Okay, so your challenge is you have the database, but now you have a huge database, and now your challenge is how do you...
I'm looking for an idea I can keep sending stuff to tens of thousands of people all the time. I'm looking for a way to do it in a smarter way of doing it. I don't know, maybe there isn't one, but...
Okay, so the marketing challenge is as follows. We have a compelling event. This compelling event doesn't have any signature outside of the company. Your product, how much does it cost?
It's not expensive.
Not expensive is always something which is compared to something else.
It's affordable to most medium to large companies. It's not a big.
But is it a complex sale? Is it a simple sale? I mean, you have to talk with multiple people in the organization how to sell the product, or just one person. The VP R&D can take out his corporate credit card and...
Depends on the company. He usually can.
Okay. So, first of all, is there any other person here in the room that faces the same challenge? There is a compelling event that they cannot recognize externally. Not only they cannot recognize it, it's even something that there is an interest to keep it under a secret. I think it's close to what you guys are doing in a sense. Nobody wants to say, I have a downtime. You are able to identify it because you know how to track it technically.
It's not the same because we have a kind of a compelling event to show their interest is when they have downtime. So when they have downtime, we can send them an email because we have the monitoring tool. Say, hey, by the way, we don't want to be the big brother. Okay, so we can send it at the end of the quarter. Hey, we've noticed you had downtime, so we're creating the compelling event for them. The case you're describing is indeed, it sounds a little bit hard.
Yeah, so you're not creating the compelling event.
No, we're not creating, but we're
You found a way to identify the compelling event. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I think the ways I've seen companies finding the compelling events, it's one or two. Either there is an event you can identify. I mean, if it was the wedding dress, it's relatively easy. See that someone joins Facebook for whatever wedding something, and you can target them. At Panaya, for example, we were selling to companies who are doing an upgrade to SAP that happens once more or less, let's say, every 2 years. So what we did is we had people, our inside sales, they would call them, okay, those prospects, and they would ask them, hey, by the way, when is your next upgrade? And they would say, you know what, it's next year. And they would write an event to follow up in a year. And until then, we keep sending them information which is interesting in general, and then we follow up in time to see if the compelling event happened.
Okay, so... So, I mean, I think for us it's also a challenge to find a compelling event, because sometimes the compelling event could be like a bug in a major release that the customer did. So we did try to search for these events and send companies, but we heard from companies like Staples where they had like their Christmas sales, and all of a sudden some of the websites are broke down on some devices, or like the pay now button was hidden or stuff like that. So these were the sorts of compelling events. But in your case, actually, it's I mean, other than hacking into the databases of VCs. So.
Well, one of the things that might work is maybe not try to target the companies themselves. So if you have a list of compelling events and you're saying M&A, you have accountants, you have lawyers, so maybe that's one of, take the second tier. That's one thing that might work. I don't know how well it works, but that might work. The other thing is frighten your database. Constantly tell them, it's the worst thing ever, you're all going to die, kind of thing. And then when they will see impending doom coming, that's the model of continuous engagement. You're constantly talking with them, and you're just waiting there for something to happen. It's the same with marketing. Marie here also probably will agree with me. It's the same with marketing automation. You cannot get a client to buy marketing automation. You can just, hopefully that he will come to you when they are talking about marketing, right? It's a...
Sometimes, and if I feel like I'm fighting it too much, or it's a hard sell, they have to get it out. The budget obviously.
Yeah, they have to come half cooked. They just like say, yeah, we want, and then you and I need to arm wrestle a bit, and then we need to win, and then everything's okay.
Something that we use like conceptually. I don't know. I think it's like without a platform, but. There is a time that you have the attention of someone, like when they sign up or read something that you do. And then we try to think how to create an inception. You saw the movie, right? Like to get an idea. What?
Was it in a dream? Was it real?
But the concept is clear. Like you plant something in the person's head that will mature when the time comes. So some things that we did, we said like in daPulse, things turn green, and you celebrate the success of accomplishing something. And then they look around and they don't see it in any other software, and it bugs them all the time that they don't see it, or something like that. You need to be creative about what differentiates you and what you like, not just like scaring them into now buying it, but to have them think about it all the time, like something that they will loop around in their head, like, and you need to think about it like that, like what will be something that they keep thinking of until the time is right and they need it. It's not easy to do, but I think you can try stuff and see.
Okay.
I have another idea that we're doing.
Just can you present yourself? Idan from JFrog?
Yeah, my name is Idan from JFrog. So we're using the marketing automation as well. We are tagging our user, we're creating a profile. For example, we created content for specific segmentation. Then we know exactly, let's say we have also a very huge email list. We segmented it using for specific technologies, specific languages, specific needs. And then, first of all, when we send the email, we're not sending a general email, we're doing a very segmented email. That's first of all. Second, we mentioned before, we first we're trying to gain the trust about this segment. So if, for example, they're using a specific language like Java or Ruby or .NET, whatever, we're doing a webinar. We're asking to join to a webinar, or maybe sending a white paper specific to their needs that talks about the needs, about the pain. It's specific with the white paper, then we do a follow-up with the webinar, and we usually try to do a partnership with a different company or a customer that's specifically involved with this technology. And then we, in a way, we send them a white paper, so we gave them some tips and good information that hopefully have helped them. And then we're doing a webinar with the professionals, so we build our reputation, and then we gain the trust around it. So, and then later on, the third one will be about our products, about how we solve what we talked in the webinar, what we talked in the white paper, and then that only then we see like the email campaign that eventually brings the results.
Are you doing that also? I will just repeat it for the video. So what we're saying is that you're using content and email marketing. You're segmenting your database in a very, very structured way. So you know how to do a very high quality approach. And then based on that, you define what kind of content you will offer them next. And then based on their interest, you know how to push them down the funnel, basically, right? Based on that. Now, are you doing that also? And that's an important feature of marketing automation. Do you do it also on ungated content?
Yeah, but also not before we can do that, we're also doing segmented using Google Analytics.
Okay.
So then we can also track how much time they spend on this.
Okay, so you're using another element that usually does not exist in marketing automation platform, which is time on page per.
Then we back it up. We're also doing a
Very impressive.
campaign. We're doing the marketing around this subject.
Nice.
If they're using Java, they also see some banners. Not very commercial because we're advertising to Java, the developers, and they don't like advertisement. We do very, very like advertisement parallel to this same period of time. Usually 30 days you will
We have the same customer group.
Yeah. Also, we also did it with open.
Nice. Very, very, very interesting. Right. Mark Lerner from Octopost.
Yeah. It's a question about marketing automation and nurturing leads in the field already. So we use marketing automation with Marketo. We have lead scoring. Now, when a lead gets to a certain page or goes to a page a certain amount of times, we get an alert and it should go to sales. And you said that Big Brother might be an issue, so that's my concern. How long do you wait? Do you call the person when he's on your website if he's gone 3 or 4 times in the same day, or do you wait an hour, or do you wait a day?
How much time do you wait? The question was the following: we have technology to enable us to track everything. How much time do you wait when you see an interest in order not to be freakish?
Less than 7 minutes.
So one number is less than 7 minutes.
We did an experiment when I was at Panaya where we did the most big brotherish thing you can possibly do. We were tracking specifically when people either opened our emails or visited our website, and we knew that they were not doing it from their mobile devices because we don't want to call someone on their mobile, and if they're reading an email or visiting our website on the mobile, they're probably not at their desk. Now, we were trying to solve the number one problem for inside sales, which is getting hold of the person. So we did exactly what you're asking, and we sent for only specific, very hot titles that the salespeople said they're trying to reach. We send them an alert the minute the person either again opened the email or visited the website on his desktop, and then they would call him. And we were a little bit hesitant about the response. Now, of course, we weren't telling them, hey, we noticed you opened our email. So we did it kind of, hey, by the way, I'm just calling you. And the responses were very surprised, but polite. They would say like, oh, amazing, I'm just reading your white paper. So we were very careful about it, and it worked really, really well. So feel free to be big brothery about those leads, or try it at least.
So for us, what worked well is doing it based on usage of the product, because what we've seen, we're selling to developers, and in many cases, developers don't really like speaking to salespeople, and even customer success engineers. Sometimes it's not that appealing. So what we did is mainly based on usage, and whenever we've seen people like having some failures in the test or having any issues getting started or things like that, or having some tests getting stuck, this is like the best engagement point. And sometimes like not immediately when they're doing it, because we don't want them to feel like we're looking at their data or anything like that, but later on in the day, and that's usually getting like the best response rate.
One of the things that we saw that works well for us and works well for some of our clients is to be subtle. Now, there is, being polite is always good. So what happens is that I know the graphs on here behind you are saying, no, you have to call him 7 minutes. I saw the graph. If you're not calling after 7 minutes, you're losing 50% of the success rate, blah, blah, blah. That's true. But I also buy a lot of products and I use a lot of products online. And when I'm on a website and I just fill in my details and I got a phone call from John Smith that sounds extremely Indian, I mean, I know he's not John Smith, so tell me what is your real name. I know you're not calling from California, dude. It's 8 a.m. Israel time, okay? Either you need to quit your job or you're not calling from California, because in Bangalore it's something like 10 a.m., right? So this is things that ruin the trust that I have with a company. I have no problem buying from a person in a specific country that calls me with a specific name at a specific time. I have no problem doing that. Okay, so
You're not racist.
I'm not racist. Thank you. So no, seriously, I mean, it creates this kind of a strange feeling that is that when you're buying a product that is there are two types of products. There are products that are cheap and that can be replaced easily. Then I don't care. I really don't care. But when it's a product that I'm going to base my business upon it, I really don't like it. So I think that's the kind of, think about it's human interaction. That's the reason why simple emails are written from people and not written from we are happy to announce, right? All those we are happy to announce emails, okay? Emails that are written from real people get better opening rate and click-through rate, because people want to talk with other people. So the best, what I've seen that worked for some of our clients, and at least for us, is to be very, very subtle. If you think about yourself and your target audience and say, you know what, if I just sign up for a product, I would really like to tell the truth, I would really like to get an email a day later after I had some time just, to click on a couple of things and see how it works, and get a bit more comfortable with it. And then I'll have very, very specific questions. And yes, the graph won't look that good, but I believe that at the end of the day, chances I will stay for a year or more are much higher, because I have this very, very strong trust with the company that I'm working with. And I think that's a fine line. It's also a line that depends on culture. Every country and every culture has different. Being subtle in different culture means different things. In Israel, it just means buy now. Okay. In the US means let's talk for a while. Okay. It's really different. But I think it's important to remember that at the end of the day, all the tools that we are using, all the tactics we are using, just enable us to scale intimacy, a fake intimacy, right? To scale it in some ways, if it's social, if it's marketing automation, and so on. But in the end of the day, we're talking with people. And that's something that the very KPI-driven approach that we strongly believe in, but the very KPI-driven approach sometimes get a bit muddled.
Just that we're not doing enough big brother stuff. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
We need to do more.
And we have a big brother advocate here as well.